Welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. And we're talking all about live video. Now, you guys know live video is my jam. I love live video probably because, well, not because, but one begat the other, I suppose. I did home shopping live video for 5 years, 5 years of unscripted hours upon hours. I counted once, it's in the thousands of hours of live video. And so of live shopping and selling. So I love this space. And one of the things that I think is so fantastic about what's happened to social media over the last few years, 5 years, 6 years maybe, is that live video is a thing that you can do, that anyone can do. And so I know I've been like chanting, and you've done my 30-day Facebook live challenge, if you've not, or live video challenge, I should say. And if you haven't, I'll give you the link to that a little bit later as well too, just to get you in the rhythm of doing it. But I thought what would be great is to bring on an expert when it comes to live video. And so I want to introduce you to Irene Chan. Irene is the marketing manager for BeLive. And if you've watched my videos on my Facebook page, Roxtalks Podcast, you've probably noticed that my videos look a little different than others. And that's because I do use BeLive, a fantastic streaming service. So as a marketing manager, she's been working in the digital marketing industry for over 8 years. And she loves the creativity that comes with video production. She has a degree in broadcast communications and is always imagining about new live videos to produce. And she is on it. You're going to love talking to her. And I'll let you know right now, a little secret. She lives in the Philippines. So this is my first international guest. So exciting. And she has so much great knowledge to give you. Now, here's the thing I want you to know is, and listen very carefully. You're going to hear some things that are going to blow your mind that you didn't even know you could do on live video, courtesy of Irene just giving you the goods. But you're also going to hear some basics. So if you're coming into it just thinking about doing live video, listen on. If you're like, I'm in live video, where can I take it? Where's the next frontier? Not the final, but the next. You're going to hear about that as well too. So I can't wait for you to dive in and listen. So let's begin. Are you struggling with creating exciting content? Do you feel like it just falls flat, or maybe you don't even know what to say? You need help? I mean, you're on social media to grow your network marketing business, to get more business partners and to get more business, and it's just not happening. I invite you to join me on the 22nd of this month for the Content Bootcamp. The Content Creation Bootcamp is all about not only giving you the blueprint that I use not only with my members, but I've used to really grow my business on social media. But more than that, you're going to be bringing forth your content that you've actually created, and we're going to be critiquing it and giving you real world application and ideas and strategy, so that you can grow in your content, so that when you do put the content out there, it will magnify and it will grow your business. Love for you to join us. Just go ahead and go to socialstoriesmembership.com/bootcamp to get all the information and get one of the limited spots. We'll see you then. Welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. We're here with Irene Chan, who, by the way, is my first international guest on Roxtalks. So I'm so excited. Where are you coming from, Irene? Tell us all.
That's so awesome. I didn't know that I'm the first international guest for a podcast. I'm so honored. Yeah, I'm from Manila, Philippines. So we actually have a team in the Philippines. A part of our content team is in the Philippines, like with BeLive. I know we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so we're like an international team in 5 countries.
Which is awesome, by the way, customer support wise, because there's always somebody to talk to, which I love. And Irene, you're here today as the marketing manager of BeLive. But what we're going to dive into, something that I've been talking to my listeners a lot about, the value of live videos. But I figured you would be a perfect person because you're like in it all the time on all things live video. So first and foremost, just from your standpoint, why is live video more important than doing a recorded video without the pressure?
Yeah, I think it's all about trust. When you see someone live, you trust what they're doing because there's no way to edit what you're doing.
Mm.
Personally, I've bought a lot of books from seeing. Actually, it also works with recorded video. There's just much higher trust factor when you see an author talking about their book live. So for me, like as a viewer, there's like when I hear an author talk about their book live, there's just that, oh, I want to hear more. And I have to check out their books on Scribd or Amazon. So that's how it is for me. So the trust factor. And also, if I can talk a little bit more about like the sales cycle, I think live video also shortens the sales cycle. For instance, when you're doing live sales, I know a lot of people are doing live sales now, especially brick and mortar businesses that are closed during the pandemic. They're kind of like bringing their businesses online. So
Mhm.
like it's like for a retail, for example, so like they can sell their items live in a live stream, and people can make a decision right there and then to make that purchase because they're seeing the demo live, and they're actually seeing a person like try it out. So it's kind of like the closest thing to getting into the store. So
Yeah.
yeah, so instead of like thinking about browsing in the like in on Amazon, for example, when you see it live, you just, okay, I want that, and you make the purchase right then or there. So like for me, it also shortens the sales cycle.
So many good things about what you just said. First of all, the trust factor. I hear you because in a world where we can edit the bejeevers out of things, the fact that you don't have that ability, that if something falls or if you have an emotion, it's real, it makes people feel like they're there as well too. I think that's such a great, great point that you made there. And then what you said about this sales cycle, you went deeper, and I love that. I don't think you don't know this, but my background, I used to sell jewelry and accessories on TV. So I did home shopping.
Wow,
So when you
that's
say that,
awesome.
yeah, well, when you say that, like, that's so true because people, I mean, it's the next best thing to actually being in the store is having someone be your advocate or stand in your shoes and let you know what it looks like, smells like, feels like, and experience it in that moment. That's so, yes, I agree with everything you said right there. But so let me ask you this though. I hear you, and when you say that about the selling cycle, definitely. How do you feel that impacts network marketers, people who are selling maybe products, beauty products, or even selling well, supplements, all 9 yards. I mean, network marketing is everything, but in a scope and field where you have thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, maybe 100,000 selling the same thing you're selling.
Oh, that's a really good question. And like for people using BeLive, a lot of them are direct sellers.
Mm.
And I know there's like different terms like people
Sure.
use. People don't want to use MLM, but just
Uh-huh.
to make sure we're talking about direct selling and network marketing.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Yeah, so so I've seen a lot of lives as well. I think it's all about branding. So like you can definitely sell the same products, but it will be different when you sell it because there are other elements. Like for you, like you have great branding. So you can attach your personal branding to what you're selling and still be unique.
Mhm.
So I hope that answers your question.
It does, and that's a really good point. I mean, that's the differentiator between you we all could be selling Coca-Cola, but it's different at every store because of the brand and the feel and the culture of that store, and the same is the case when it comes to someone selling online.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, because I think online you usually like follow the people and then you kind of realize, oh, these are the products that they're selling.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, and I love that you said that because I think it's good for someone to hear it from you as opposed to hearing it from me all the time. As they're finding you first, and then they're like, "Oh, I like that product because they like you." In
Mm.
beginning. So you work with a lot of, as you mentioned, BeLive, which is an amazing streaming product that I love and use well, I say every day. Every day I'm doing lives on Facebook. I use BeLive. But you work with a lot of network marketers. What is that like, or what have you seen any trends in that regard?
Ooh, actually, I'm so glad that you said about trends because right now, so we do a PR for, of course, for Be Live, and also we want to make sure that we are ahead of the trend and we establish ourselves as industry leaders as
Mhm.
a person, not like as a brand as well. Because so one of the things that we notice about like journalists are really interested about how retail is taking their business online because retail, as you know, like they're taking the hit in the pandemic. So a lot of people are asking us advice, like journalists and even like streaming sites. Basically, they want to know how retail can take their business online through live shopping. So currently, that's the trend that we're seeing. And when you pitch to journalists, you can actually understand what everyone wants. Because we do like pitch different topics and we talk to different journalists, and most of the interest is around like live sales and how retail can like use live streaming in order to basically survive in the pandemic.
Yeah, which does apply to network marketing, and
Mm,
in a big way. I think that's interesting that, and you're right, the trends, what the journalists are interested in kind of tells you where things are going, or they kind
yeah.
of theme where things are going. And so what can you say about, tell us more about live shopping?
Sure. Sorry, I like every time I talk to someone, I'm just like talking about live shopping because that's I breathe in I breathe in live shopping every day because I love it. Like I know I work at BeLive, but I've been using BeLive before I became a BeLive teammate. So
Really?
yeah, so
Okay.
I was a user first, and I met the founders in Israel. They're amazing people. And I was BeLive is actually the first live streaming platform that integrated the live shopping feature, and we actually are launching a new added feature on top of that. So I could like share with your viewers a little bit of teaser. So basically, for sorry, I forgot the specific question about live shopping.
You're in your happy place. You're like, so
Yeah.
I think I just said, tell us a little bit more about live shopping, but how
Okay.
can a network marketer incorporate live shopping? Well, first of all, let's define live shopping because I think this is the first time that
Mm,
some people have heard it.
I'm so glad that we're starting with the definition of live shopping. Yeah, so basically, live shopping, and I think Mark Zuckerberg is also uh, did an announcement around it. Basically,
Mm.
you're be able to shop live. So, for example, Facebook, a lot of direct sellers they show their products live, and then there's like information on the price and the size, and people can say sold or whatever the instruction is to
Mhm,
claim that product. So
mhm.
basically, it's just shopping while someone is live.
Yeah,
So
that's what it
yeah,
sounds like. It is like home shopping, but now everyone can do it.
exactly.
Yeah,
Y-
which I'm sure is freaking QVC and HSN and all the other ones out in a big way. But you're right. It's so that people can shop online in that moment. So, which boggles my mind in some ways that Facebook has reached that point already. I
mhm.
mean, talk about warp speed, especially since in the past it's been hard for network marketers to actually make the catalog that they had before.
Mm.
And like they've made it very hard for direct sellers to even have access to that. But now you can just sell things online. So how does Be Live help with that?
Yeah, so one of the things that we help with them is for Be Live, we're all about branding. We want to make
Mhm,
sure that you look good in the live broadcast and you look unique as well. So you have all of your colors. So for Be Live, we make it very easy to upload your shopping, your product items. So you just put your image and then the price and then a little bit of description. And that way you can flash that graphic,
mhm.
QVC or HSN style. So it's
Nice.
very easy. I always say that BeLive is kind of the Canva of live streaming because it's super easy to use. Anyone can use it. And basically, it's just putting text and then it will look pretty. So
Yeah.
that's how we're helping direct sellers or like e-commerce sellers make it pretty to showcase your products live.
And then on the Facebook interface allows people to press the buy button basically, I guess, and buy it right there on there.
Yeah, so that's one of the tricky part with Facebook, because for Facebook you can't click links within the video. So
Mhm.
usually there are workarounds, and most people use bots. So like, as you know, like for ManyChat,
Mhm.
you can use a keyword and type a specific keyword, and then you'll be taken to the bot with a link. So currently that's one of the workarounds.
Mhm.
And if I can tease a little bit, that's actually the next that's the next problem that we're solving at BeLive. We want to make it easy for people to share the link so that they can buy easily as well, not just like showing the products. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I'm so excited to share that a little bit in your podcast.
Yeah, that's gonna blow some minds. I love how we started like we just dove right into the deep end, but there's so much potential there that I think is important for people to realize that things. Sometimes we think, oh my gosh, we're all cooped up because most of us are still
Mhm.
out here in California, cooped up. And what's happening? Is anything like moving forward and progressing? But what's really exciting is that when it comes to technology and social media and all that you can do with it, it is progressing in a major way in 2020.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, for direct sellers right now, there's also a huge challenge because, especially like for us, for the Philippines, like we can't go out at all.
Uh-huh.
Now they made the quarantine like much stricter. My mom can't even visit me to babysit my kids. So
Wow.
anyway, and some people are like, eh, one of our family members is working in a direct sales company, and they've been recruiting me through Zoom calls. So that's how like they've been
Mhm.
doing their like recruitment. I was telling them you can also do live streams, like so you can get more awareness. But as I understand, there are like different rules depending on the direct sales
Depending on.
company in terms of like doing a live video.
Mhm.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting. One of the things that I realized as well during the quarantine.
Yeah, and that's so true. And wow, and I just need to take a pause because I think sometimes we get stuck in our bubble of where we live, and we don't realize that the pandemic is impacting so many other people. So I'm gonna
Mm,
just go there. Let's go down that rabbit hole for a second. You guys are in, you said pretty extensive quarantine.
yes.
How many days do you know, or how long have you been in a quarantine?
Well, basically, we started the quarantine March 15. They have like different terms. Like there's like a general quarantine, and then there's like an enhanced quarantine. So it
Mhm.
depends on your city. If there are, because right now in the Philippines the cases are really like taking a hit. So like we have like 3,000 cases each day. So in cities that are have more cases, we have like checkpoints, so you can no longer like go into other cities. So
Wow.
yeah, and you need a quarantine pass to go through the groceries, to do your groceries, and that's how it is for us right now.
Wow, that's intense. I'm in California, so we are a little bit more conservative when it comes to quarantine as opposed to
Mm,
other. Every state is like it's whatever every state wants to do. But we went into quarantine similar to you on March
mm-hmm.
17th. On March
Right.
17th was like official things shut down, and we were at shelter at different stages. It's gone up and down. Um, they've kind of re-rolled things back, so we're doing less and less right now than before,
Mm-hmm.
but it's an interesting time for sure. When you think about
Definitely.
that's from the day we're recording, I always tell my listeners when we're recording, it is August 5th. So we're talking about 140-ish days ish
Mm-hmm.
since it all began, which is just a little bit the world has made a lot of changes in 140 days. And we should be
Definitely.
watching the Olympics right now, and we're not, which I'm going to try and I just love the Olympics. I'm very sad about that. So, but back to the issue at hand. Okay, so I love what you're saying about where they can go, and this actually really helps. A couple things you said. The live shopping, I think, really helps network marketers who want to focus on selling the product.
Mm,
Sometimes they're forgotten because everyone's always thinking team building, team building, team building. But for those who love selling the product, this is an awesome way for them to really get involved. Now, you said it's still rolling out. So what I'd ask you here is if I'm someone who's like, yeah, I want to do the live shopping, um, they got to walk before they run, I would say, wouldn't you? So
mhm.
yeah, please go ahead.
No, no. So, I have a ton of tough stuff to say, but I wanted to make sure that it's on point to your
I
question.
go to any point you want to go. So go ahead.
Okay, so I guess you said like about they need to walk before they start running. Actually, I have been experimenting myself into the live shopping because,
Mhm.
as we said, I was in quarantine and a lot of people I know lost their jobs, and I was thinking about like for me it was. I wasn't one of those people. I'm very lucky because anyway, but still I wanted to know what it would be like to have like to experiment if I could sell stuff
Mhm.
online, but I didn't want to buy products that I have to ship, because I just don't want to deal with the logistics. And I
Uh-huh.
said,
I hear you.
yeah. And I said I'm already ordering a lot of stuff online, usually like to build my to improve my work at home office, because I had to improve it because I'm basically stuck at home. I usually work in the coffee shop or co-working space. So anyway, I'm getting all of this online stuff. What if I just earn money from recommending them to people? So what I did is I signed up for a local e-commerce store for an affiliate marketing
Mhm.
affiliate program, and so I
Mhm.
could get the link. And then what I would do every time I receive a package, and I can share with you the links as well for the broadcast
Awesome.
for your, yeah, for your viewers, if they want to take a look. So I would demo the product that I received live and how I'm using it, and then I would show the pricing as well and all the photos. So I did it that way, QVC style, but in a way that's not, I'm not like directly making the product or having them or like sourcing them. So I'm just like
Right.
recommending them, and then you click this link and then I earn a commission.
So that's brilliant. And one of the things that I encourage my members of Social Stories to do is to diversify. And I've had several podcasts on like diversifying multiple streams of income. And
Mm,
affiliate marketing, I think, is so important because why not? If you're loving something and you're using it, you might as well share about it and becoming, whether it's an Amazon affiliate or e-commerce affiliate in some way. So what I hear you saying is you could use this platform specifically to talk about whatever you got in the mail that you're loving. And
yes.
so if you want it, click, which is much even more powerful than what you see on YouTube. It's been going on for years, right? Where it's like, here's the link to get it. You're just flat out saying, if you want it,
Mm,
click. It's that impulse buy. It's that buying the candy bar at the checkout. Not that I've done that before. Yes, I have. On your way out of the store. That's brilliant. And I like that because I think that's a great intermediate step that people can do before they feel the pressure of, oh my gosh, I'm selling the product that I specifically have. Would you say though, if someone is not doing video at all,
mhm.
would you say it'd be good for them to do some live videos with BeLive, get acclimated to it, get their warm up their audience before they start selling whatever it may be?
Yeah, I would like, for me, there was a learning curve. I did have a natural um I like video in general. So
Mhm.
when when Facebook Live rolled out, when Facebook rolled out Facebook Live, I was like one of the first people to use it. So I think it was natural for me to go like loving video and then doing live video. But if it's the first time, I would actually skip to live video right away by just going live. Like, if you don't want to have like a public audience, I would suggest creating a private Facebook group, so it
Mhm.
could just be you and your mom. You can go live and pretend like you're going live to some viewers. The best thing is to like answer some questions that people usually ask you already, like if you have a business or if you have a service, like what are the first questions that people usually ask, and then answer those questions like live. And then if it's just basically to get into the process, I usually start, I don't usually like plan out everything to be perfect. I just start, because then I would understand what I need to improve on when I'm already in the process.
Mhm.
So that's my first tip, like just go live, and it doesn't have to be like be live right away. Like you can even use Instagram live because it has like the stories feature where you, it, like it doesn't broadcast to a lot of people right away.
Right.
So yeah, that would be my first advice.
Well, you said Instagram and BeLive in the same sentence, so you're going to get a question that I've been just personal question on my part. Is there a day where BeLive will be able to stream on Instagram?
Yeah, actually, that's a question that we get a lot, but it's actually not our decision because Instagram doesn't have the API to connect
Mhm.
with like a third party app. So, yeah, I mean, we've been waiting for it as well, but definitely we are making sure that we're in the platform that our users will find the best value. So, currently we are Facebook and
Mhm.
YouTube, and hopefully LinkedIn as well.
I love that. Well, I'll be patient. Hurry up, Zuckerberg, make the API happen. Now, you have done some amazing things with, I feel like Facebook had a resurgence when Facebook Live came back in a way. It's
Mm,
like people were leaving the platform, but Facebook Live, and more specifically, Facebook Live on business pages or fan pages or whatever we want to call them,
mhm.
has really made, I feel like it has given a jolt to the Facebook page that for a while they were kind of dying in some ways, wouldn't you say?
I totally agree. One of the I think this shift was around the end of 2017 when there
Mhm,
was a lot of engagement issues with the Facebook page. Like
mhm.
you have 30,000 fans, for example, but like only 30 people are like reaching
Yeah.
the post. And then when you use Facebook Live, you're organically getting more reach, and that's true because I'm starting a new page. I used to have a page from a different brand blog that I was working on, but I had to switch branding. So I started a new page. And it's like it has less than 200 followers, but
Mhm.
when I do a live, I like reach more than 600 people, which I
Wow.
thought is pretty great because I have,
Yeah.
yeah, like less than 200 likes, and the engagement is crazy as well. Yeah, so I really think that when you have reach and engagement problem, live can help you as well, like resurgence your page.
Yeah, that's a big one. Speaking of Facebook pages, just best practices in your expertise.
Mhm.
What's the minimum someone should go live if they want to cultivate a community and have that engagement and really build their business?
Yeah, that's a very great question, and my first answer is like it really depends on your commitment and also your target audience. So I would say experiment first, but usually right now I'm also experimenting, and I feel like there is more value if I go live once a week and do an interview with a guest rather than going by myself, like with a live Q&A.
Mhm,
Because when you have a guest, you will get their audience as well. They will help you share the scheduled broadcast. So,
mhm.
and I know for myself as well that right now I can't commit to going live daily because I have a newborn and a toddler and like a
Congratulations.
job. Yeah, thank you. So I know that I can commit to once a week and then 30 minutes and I can show up. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. It also depends on your audience. Is it an audience that would like to see fresh content all the time, or would they rather have like one long content but with a lot of value?
That's a really good point. What's their attention span, really, what it comes
Mm,
down to?
yeah,
What bite size? Do they want the whole apple or just a bite of the apple? And really
exactly.
evaluating that. What other do's or don'ts would you give to someone who's doing live video on Facebook specifically?
Do like don't this is a big one, and I see this in our community all the time. When you start a live, start with your topic right away. Don't say, oh, we're waiting for people to join us, so I'm not gonna go through
I
the
hate
topic
that.
right away.
I hate that so much. Like it's offensive, I think, to those who are there showing up. It's like you're not important enough. I got to wait for the important people to come and then I'll present.
Exactly. So I think of it like basically going live on TV. You have like the structure, you start with a specific script, and it's a specific time, because people will watch you on replay anyway if they don't arrive on time.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's like the number one don't. And the rest is something that you can practice and you can adjust depending on your branding as well. And do is definitely have a structure. So I don't recommend having like a specific script, but at least having that structure of like, what is your introduction, what are the bullet points, and how are you going to conclude it, basically like a blog post. I always, because I am a writer first before I became a live streamer, so I always structure my live streams in that way.
It's smart though. It gives you that structure, helps you if something happens. If something crashes down and you're like, where was I? You're like, oh, wait, I need to hit that point. Okay, I need to get back on
Mm,
track. Because I do think that sometimes if you don't have any structure, you ramble. And that's
yes.
one of the dangers of live video as opposed to a recorded video, is you have a tendency just to ramble about any and everything. And that can go on a little bit too long.
Yes, I am guilty of that sometimes.
We definitely all do it. What now? Okay, I love your do's and don'ts. What would you say, like, like when you think about network marketers specifically, is there anything that you would say to network marketers when it comes to doing those lives? Any advice you'd give?
Yeah, I actually have a Facebook group. I'm part of a Facebook group called Social Strategy Squad. So I'm not sure if you're friends with Vanessa, but like she teaches people on how to basically make an awesome business around direct sales.
Mhm.
So in using live as well, one of the things that she's big on branding. So I have to talk about branding again, because I feel like that's like a very big differentiator. And branding also, just it's not just about the colors, but how you also um, project yourself. For me, when I started, like, so I mentioned earlier that I did like an affiliate marketing live sales experiment. I also, before I did the live, I kind of narrowed down my target audience, wherein I'm going to talk to work at home moms, especially those who have like kids like me, little kids like me. Like, what are the tips that I can give them and how they can be more productive at work? So
Mhm.
I guess like that's kind of my branding, in terms of like I will talk about my work at home life having kids, because then people will be able to relate to me for that specific target audience. So I guess, and that's the great thing about lives, that you can insert all of these things that makes you you and make it part of your branding.
Yeah, branding is something I'm huge on. I like to do a branding boot camp, gosh, every few months, because I completely agree with that. If you don't have, you've got to know who you are, because that actually helps define your target market, but also gives clarity to your target market about who you are and why they need to come to you. What's the reason that they're going to shop from you as opposed to everybody else
Mm.
out there? Or back when we could get out of the house, any store between where they work, worship, or work out is what I always say. Like, why are they going to say, I'm going to shop from Irene, even though her products take a week longer to get there and maybe more expensive? It's because Irene is she's that working mom who's rocking it. And I love what she puts out there, which I think is another reason why live video is so important, because while the content, when you write content, that's great.
Hmm.
Seeing, like, if someone gets a chance to see you on a weekly basis or more frequently, and you're talking to them directly and maybe even answering their questions on a live, so they're like, wow, we're having an actual discussion with each other, that helps them feel that, like you said earlier, it jumps through the cycle, the shopping cycle, but it also makes them feel like, I know her, even though you've never actually met each other, you know each other. And so then that loyalty, that brand loyalty, becomes a real thing.
Yeah, and speaking of knowing someone, like, so you know Molly, right?
I love Molly Mahoney. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Molly and I have been working together because she has the shows on our page,
Uh-huh.
and I watch her shows, and then we do chats, like for maybe 2 years, and then we met in person. But it already felt like like with all of her live stream, it already felt like I know her very closely. So when
Mhm.
we met in person, it was like we're already friends.
I love that. And you probably had that moment of like, where did we first meet? Wait a moment, this is the first time we've met. Like, you don't even realize this is actually the first time, because you are able to interact so well with each other. That is such a great example of the power of live videos. And so I think to myself, why wouldn't someone want to dive in and have that familiarity with their target market? Fear is probably a big one, wouldn't you say?
Mm. Yes, fear is definitely a big one. I think there's a lot of stress around live video, especially if it's a scheduled one.
Mhm.
Um, and I think mostly it's like a self-imposed stress. Like it doesn't have to be stressful at all, and it's all in our head. And the
Mhm.
worst thing that you can do is like go live and then you screw up. You do have the ability to delete it after, if ever that's like a decision that you want to make. Recently, a few weeks ago, I did a live broadcast on a mom page, so I was basically kind of giving tips as well how you can live stream as a mom. And I had a newborn, and then he cried, and I had to turn off the camera, nurse while I was screen sharing, and then I was like, my left hand I was nursing, and then my right hand was like doing the mouse, and I was like, should I delete this? I was like talking to the founder of the page, and I was like, I was thinking of deleting it, but I think it's on brand because
Mhm.
like it's a mom page, so we didn't
Totally.
delete
Totally.
it.
And I'm sure it got a lot of views and people felt like they related to you so much because that's live streaming as a mom, that it's especially during the pandemic, that's what happens, right? Um,
Yeah.
that's amazing that happened in real time for you. That's I'm glad you didn't delete it. And I would encourage people not to like resist temptation to delete as much as you can, unless something ridiculous happens or maybe I don't know. Um, keep it on there because that's also your imperfections
Mm.
are what brings people to you and that gravitas happens in a beautiful way.
Yeah, and I usually don't delete it unless it's like really poor quality.
Yeah.
Um like if you slipped on something and then that's okay. Like you think it's not the best one, I think that's okay. I actually have videos on my YouTube channel 6 years ago. I didn't delete them, and then I looked at them now. I would cringe every time, but still, I'm glad that I didn't delete it because I can see my progress from that like 6 years ago to now. So I
Yes.
think that's interesting.
Yes, and you know what? To piggyback off that, people who watch it love seeing your progress too. They love like they feel like they're on that journey, and so it works twofold. You see how far you've come, and then people are like, "Oh my gosh!" Or they're like, "I remember that video. Now look at her." So all of those things come to life. Let's talk a little bit about BeLive. BeLive is something that I am a major advocate of, love using it, and encourage all of my members to use it because of its functionality and what you said before, the professionalism that it allows and gives people. I'd love for you to talk about a little bit about BeLive and where it's going, what people can look forward to with it.
Yeah, thank you. I love talking about BeLive, and I really appreciate your support. And you do have the mug, so
I
like,
do. Thank
yeah.
you. So sweet.
So Roxtalks. Uh, so where we're going is definitely, we're still at the core of like helping anyone, any business owner pick up live streaming and like go live in a very professional way very easily. So that's our core. And we have upcoming more features that will help you do that. So right now, and our second, of course, core is like engagement. We want to make sure that you have more engagement into your broadcast. So like the live shopping, although it's like directly for like sales, it's
Mhm.
still getting you a lot of engagement because when you show the product with like a pretty image, then you will get more questions, especially when you're scrolling the news feed.
Mhm.
So a lot of our features will also support more engagement and smarter engagement, if I could say. So yeah, and we're still serving like the audience because I think a lot of people also have grown into live streaming. Those people that started 3 years ago are like have more advanced setup. So
Mhm.
And that's totally fine. Like if you have fancy setup, BeLive can support that as well. But we're supporting the business owners like that don't have a lot of time to like edit a lot of stuff. You just go live in front of your computer and you look like a pro. So
And it works well. I love seeing the members of my community of social stories. I love watching their videos because when I see them using BeLive and what they've done with it, it's so interesting because you allow people to customize it in a way that you might not even realize it's the same platform, but it's like,
mm,
wow, that looks so sharp. And I'm telling you, I am addicted to being able to post people's comments up on my screen. Like that is my
yes.
favorite thing. That to me is just like life-giving in so many different ways. And I feel like it brings people together. I'm guessing, I haven't asked, but I'm guessing that it makes people feel really good when they see their comment pop up as well too.
Yes, as a viewer, so I also watch other people's broadcasts, like in our Facebook group, and I always wait because I don't have a lot of time to watch, but I would always wait when I comment, and then when someone shows my comment on the screen, I feel really heard. It's like when you listen to the radio. When I was, and this will probably give away my age. So when I was a teenager, I used to call up like the radio station, and
Oh
then like
yeah.
you can say hello. So and then when the DJ mentions your name, you're like very happy. I think it's kind of like the same effect when a live streamer mentions your name, and more importantly, when they show your comments, like it's your part. You're part of the content creation.
Yes, that's so true. And I guess I'm right on the edge as you because I remember calling in trying to win tickets as well too. And I never did win the tickets, but man, I tried. But you're right though; it brings it into content. And what you said there, I think, is so interesting. As you become more familiar and comfortable with doing Facebook Lives,
Mhm.
you're able to juke and jive on the fly. You've got your plan, but you are able to go off script. So when someone pulls up or makes a comment that you're able to put on the screen, that might actually move the trajectory of your live. And it's a really cool content creation type of thing. It's like art, like live art is what it really becomes.
Oh, I love that live art. I'm gonna use that.
It is. And also I just have to add, not only do I love putting the comments up, but I love and I think people must love too, seeing not only their name, but the picture. What you guys have done with that it seems so subtle, but I'm a huge fan of that. That's my favorite feature for sure.
I'm so glad to hear that.
And it's something that, you said you might have people have sophisticated setups, but if you're just streaming from your computer and you're just sitting there with a wall, I mean, and maybe a ring light, maybe you can use that feature and elevates your lives above others in that quick moment.
Yeah, and for me, I have a very simple setup. And I do like your mic. That's one in my wish list. Like I want a Yeti mic. So, because I do like that setup where you have this mic
This
like
big
that.
mic. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
even see it. And then people are like, wow, your mic. I'm like, oh yeah, it's right there. It's just part of me now. It's my third arm. Um,
exactly.
I love that. See, this has been fantastic. Is there anything else you would say about Be Live or any other advice or words of wisdom you'd like to give?
I guess just go live.
Mhm.
Don't overthink it. Go live. You will love it. And even if you screw up, that's okay. You can try again. And if ever you go live for the first time, just share with me as well. Like if you are watching this podcast and you got inspired to go live, I would really be happy to hear that.
Oh, I love that. Yes, let Irene know. All of her information is on the page. And Irene, where can they find you best on, or do you like Facebook or Instagram better?
Hmm.
Or not
I
better?
actually I like Facebook because most of the people I engage are there. I
Mhm.
like to consume content on Instagram but not to engage as much.
Where can we find you on Facebook?
On Facebook, you can find me on It's Irene Chan. That's my Facebook page. But you can also find me on our Facebook group, Be Livers. I'm there. Like you can tag me if you have any questions.
I love that. It's fantastic. And just so you know, if you're listening to this and you're like, I want to try Be Live, go to roxtalkspodcast.com. There is a link to get BeLive and a free month. So you can just dive in and really get busy with your live videos. You'll be hooked. You're going to love it.
Yeah, and like we have connections. I can hook you up with BeLive through Roxanne because she's our partner. So if ever you need extended trial listening to this podcast or discounts, I'd be happy to hook you up.
Thank you so much, Irene. Just make sure let her know you heard from it here. This has been fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time, and it's like nighttime, so you're about to go to bed. Yes.
Yes, 11:22 p.m. I'm gonna go straight to bed.
Thank you so much for staying up with us. I feel like now we're like a late night radio channel, like Delilah or something. So this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's time for the tech tip, and it should be no surprise to you that a tech tip is really all about setting you up for success when it comes to doing live video. Now, as you know, I use BeLive. I love BeLive. I love BeLive because it takes my live videos to the next level. I also love using it because I can stream on multiple platforms. So you may watch me on my Facebook page, or you might even be watching when I do lives in the group simultaneously. You can also simulcast in other ways. And if you are someone who's like, I want to do this on YouTube, you can do your videos on YouTube as well. You can do all sorts of streaming. So I want to share with you this link. I mentioned it as I was talking to Irene. This is going to give you a free month of BeLive, courtesy of me. I'm a proud partner of BeLive. So the link is below, and you probably saw it earlier as well in the video too, but there it is. But if you're listening, you can always go to roxtalkspodcast.com and go to this episode to get the information. Or are you ready? Just put in bit.ly, so bit.ly/you BeLive, YOUBELIVE. So that'll get you straight to it as well too. And when you do that, go ahead and send me a note, and I will get you that free month so you can dive into BeLive. You can email me at roxtalkspodcast.com. I hope that you take the time, and if you've been doing live videos, it's time to take it to the next level. It's time to at least try a functionality like this and see what it does for your viewership, what it does for your engagement. I'm convinced, and I know from my own experience as well as the members of my community, that it will really help you go to that next level. Live video is not going anywhere. Video is staying and is only going to get better and better. So you want to make sure that you're equipped for that. The other thing I would say is take some time, and I'll put a link below of my store for network marketers. And the reason I want to share this with you is I often get asked, Roxanne, what microphone are you using? Roxanne, what lighting do you have? All those things. So I put them together in an Amazon store, and you can find that link. It's just amazon.com/shop/Roxtalks, or just go to the podcast page and you'll see that information there. There you're going to see ring lights, microphones of different levels, even webcams that I use or have used in the past, just to help you if you want to take it to the next level. So it's time now for the mindset moment. And I am in the throes of putting together the 30 days of Minder Media for my members. And so every day they get an audio that gives them some guidance, some insights, some little chutzpah when it comes to posting and getting themselves out there when it comes to social media. Such a great time to be talking about this as we're talking about live video. And I know for some of you, the idea of doing live video just terrifies you because you're nervous and you don't want to put yourself out there in that way. What I would say to you is this. I want you to really think about and you've probably heard this before, you're going to hear it again. What is the worst that could happen? What is the worst that can happen by you doing a live video? Did the world come crashing down? Now, I want you to think about what the worst could happen. What's the worst thing that could happen if you don't get out there and do live video or social media or whatever you're stopping yourself from doing when it comes to growing your business right now? And weigh the two. Listen, the weight might be different. You might have some great story you're telling yourself on the worst thing that could happen if you put yourself out there. But I bet that's not even a reality. Now, I want you to also think about what the best thing that could happen if you start getting out there, putting yourself out there on social media, doing live video, whatever it may be. And then ask yourself, what's the best thing that could happen if you don't do it? See, the worst thing that can happen to anybody is not moving. Inaction is the worst type of action there is. I want you to really sit down and write out what I mentioned and then just weigh it. Weigh it. I'm going to venture to guess that when you weigh that, you're going to see that it's so much more important to you, to your value, to your strength, to your growth, to your business. Notice I said that last, the others I said first, to get out there and get in action and move. So I hope that's what you do. And if you are ready to move, email me. I wanted to cheer you on. Roxanne@roxannewilson.com. I'd love to see your video. I would love to see your post. I'd love to get on there and comment and cheer you on. We'll be right back with Behind the Scenes. And behind the scenes we are. So right now it is August 5th. And we're recording this nice and early in the morning because, of course, Irene lives in the Philippines. So sweet. It's nighttime for her, a day ahead of me. What's going on with me right now? I am in the throes, and I think I told you guys a little bit about this last week, of really bringing together all sorts of concepts for network marketers. Super excited. It's like this growth period that's happened. I think it's part of like you birth this, you work on something for so long, especially since we've been in hibernation, and things are just coming together in an exciting, mildly like scary way where I'm like, this is going to happen. This is happening. We're just going to keep on rolling with it. I'm also really working with my members and helping them along the track of getting them really dialed in and focused on the blueprint, getting into a mindset of focusing on that one thing they need to be working on as opposed to trying to do all of the things and really grow with their social media and grow their business. So those are the two things I'm working on working on them in the moment in the blueprint. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, working on some new exciting things that I promise to tell you about soon. I did reveal them to some of my elite members this week, and they were mind blown and excited. So that makes me happy. I cannot wait to share it with you. I promise I will soon. But all I can say is good things are afoot. Also, I want to invite you to the content creation workshop. I'll be joining you this August 22nd for the content creation bootcamp, And now that is going to be a time where not only you're going to learn and walk away with a blueprint on how to create captivating, magnetic content, but I'm also going to encourage you to bring content with you. Bring it with you. Let's go over it together. And you're going to get some real life introspection and feedback and critiques on how you can make your content better, because you're putting that information out there for a reason. Let's get it so that it actually connects with your target market and it connects with your brand. So we did branding and target market last month, if you remember, for the boot camp, and now we're going to dive into your content. Cannot wait. If you'd like more information on that, just go to socialstoriesmembership.com/bootcamp. And I'd love to see you there. Slots are limited because it's going to be very interactive, but I would love to see you there. Thanks so much for listening to Roxtalks. It's been always a pleasure to be here with you. Just a reminder, you're not ahead, you're not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. And I, for one, am so pleased that you've chosen to be here with me. Take care.